Today's episode is one I wish I had heard 10 years ago. You all know this. If you are a woman, you were 35 and over. I'm 50. I know this like the back of my hand. But if you look in the mirror, one day you wake up and you're like, what happened? How did that get there? Or wait, I thought the serum I had was working. Or this moisturizer cost X bazillion dollars. How come it's not seemingly doing its job? So before we get into this episode, I have to apologize to you in advance. Okay, I did get a little overly excited, I must admit. And in this conversation, I truly tried to tamp it down. And as you know, the solopreneur I am, I even tried to edit myself out because I felt like I was just so excited and overly excited about this product. I use words like nourish and nurture a lot. And I tried to explain it in these really beautiful poetic terms. And that made me laugh upon reflection. But then I realized I'm actually really excited about it because I haven't found something that has worked so effectively. So today I'm talking with Celeste Lee, co-founder of CaireBeauty.com. That's CAIRE beauty.com. A brand that is finally doing what the beauty industry should have done years ago, creating a skin care product specifically for women over 35. And in this episode, we dig into the midlife skin and why it seems to change overnight. We talk about what's going on under the surface hormonally and biologically. We talk about all the ways that you can nourish and nurture your skin so that you can actually feel joyful when you look in the mirror and not stressed. You know, I always provide takeaways on the show. That's one of the things I love to do. And here's the best part about this takeaway. Until now, no one has really bothered to make a skincare product for the woman that I am now. I'm 50. And I'm always trying things that keep me sort of chasing the beauty. And that just reminds me of what I used to do. So this brand, CaireBeauty.com, and their skincare line of products actually are designed for me, for who I am today, who I am now, and who I am becoming, rather than the girl I used to be. So if your skin has been dry, it's been complaining, you feel like you need something, and you have been on the search for something that will just do the job, CaireBeauty.com, the skincare product line, is for you. Let's get into it. Excitement and all. Here is Celeste Lee. Everybody, I know you can see this, but this is Caire Beauty. Celeste Lee from Caire Beauty. You are a founder, co-founder, and I'm telling you, I'm liking it.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, but can I boast a little bit? I'm not super surprised. And hopefully I'll explain why I can boast a little bit later.
Oh, boast away. Please tell me why you're not surprised.
You know, I think that the idea of addressing women's skin in midlife is not only long overdue, there's actually a lot of change that can happen. So when you think about the fact that there are hundreds, if not thousands, of skincare brands out there, and yet literally I think we're one of two total skincare brands that are thinking about the specific biology of women's skin in midlife. And it is very different than when we were 25, 30, 15, 16. And yet when you hear this phrase anti-aging, and we've all heard that, and I don't like the word, but let's forget about the value of the word. Sure. Anti-aging in the beauty world, and both my partner and I, Lori, she's also called Lori, yes, come out of beauty. We've been in every category of beauty. We we're shocked ourselves to find out that anti-aging is designed for anybody, man or woman, over about 15 or 16 years of age. So you can be 16, you can be 26, you can be 86, you can be a guy, girl, or whatever, and it's for everybody. And that's because, and to be fair, companies are trying to sell as much as possible, right? So they're making a product that can be as broadly usable as possible. But I'm sorry, women's skin has some very specific issues that happen to women and not to men, and some very, very specific issues that happen in midlife. And for every woman, midlife is actually a unique time period. It can start as early as 35, the skin change, but it can be as late as, say, 40, 45, but around, say, 40.
Okay.
And it's profound and it lasts for decades. And it's something that um, the better you can manage your skin during this time frame, you will feel better about yourself. And who doesn't want to feel better about themselves? But also, you'll
Always.
go into your later life looking and feeling better about yourself. So, it's a very unique thing that um, people don't want to talk about because it has to do with menopause and perimenopause and hormones and changing, ovaries and fertility. And these are words that and ideas that are not celebrated in modern American or Western European culture because after a woman is no longer fertile, it's like,
It's
we
like,
don't want to
bye-bye.
talk about what it means. It's like,
Yeah.
see you later.
See you later.
See you later.
Absolutely.
And though I do feel there has been, in the last year or two especially, more attention being paid. Oprah Winfrey's paying attention to Tamsin Fadal and Denise Pines, who we're friendly with, and produced a documentary that was on PBS. That was a first time ever. We're still at the beginning of the iceberg, and the ideas about, not ideas, the actual scientific basis of what happens to you, not just your skin, by the way, everything, your
Right.
hair, your bones, your muscle, all the weird, I hate the word symptoms because that implies that perimenopause is a disease. It's
Yes.
not.
Yeah.
It's actually, of course, 100% normal. And if you don't have it, the alternative is really not good.
Right.
And because it means you're no longer alive as a woman, right? And
Right.
so I think that what fascinates me is that we're only at the beginning of culture change, the idea that we can even say these words and talk about these things. You've got Halle Berry talking about it a little bit, and I think Gwyneth Paltrow to some extent. And I'm glad because at first I was actually a little, I can be very honest with you, annoyed with all these celebrities. But now I'm
Sure.
like, sometimes you need celebrities to open the conversation up.
I was following Dr. Marie Claire Haver.
Yes, she's wonderful. Absolutely amazing.
Amazing doctor. And I, that was really the moment for me where I went, okay, I'm applying my eyeshadow. And I said, what? Like this eyeshadow application is similar to touching a scrotum. Like it's just like, I was like, and this is a ball sack on my eye. Like, what is going
But what happened to me?
I, it was yesterday that I felt like it was firm. And then all of a sudden, it's just like, bleh, bleh, bleh. Like, what is going on?
It's so interesting that you say that. And actually, we have heard that from hundreds of people. The reality of the matter is, it's not like from one day to the next, you suddenly developed
Yeah.
ball sack eyes, right? It didn't happen like that. But
Now I've
it's
coined the phrase ball
right.
sack eyes.
But it does, but what it is, it's the moment of epiphany, the moment of realization.
Yeah.
And for me, it was my under eye. So it's interesting that you mentioned the eyes. For most women, and later on, because it does happen to men too, but it doesn't really occur to them for another decade or two. So it is about the eyes because the skin, the ocular skin, is thinner to begin with. It's more thinner and it's more sensitive.
Yeah.
And so we were hearing in fact, this was the gestation of this company. Lori and I had been in beauty. And we had been working on fragrances, a fragrance project together. She was the head of fragrance for Halle Berry and Celine Dion fragrances at Coty. And we were hearing from all of our friends, and we were in our mid 40s,
Yeah.
about what's going on with the under eye, what's going on with the upper eye. But really, it was the under eye, the circles, the lack of firmness, the
The
discoloration,
puffiness.
puffiness, discoloration. And, it was so funny when Lori graduated from business school, she needed a little extra money. And long before there was something called a side hustle, she got herself a job at Bloomingdale's, the YSL counter, and she went through the full YSL training. So she's still loyal to this day to
Yeah.
Yves Saint Laurent Touche Éclat. And so people would ask us, well, what do you recommend? What do you recommend? And she and I would like have a cocktail and say, well, what do you think? And I'd be like, you can't just talk about Touche Éclat for the rest of your life. There are other brands out there that make beautiful concealers like It Cosmetics or Hourglass or, and so we were discussing this when one day, literally, we looked at each other and she says to me, why are we always talking about concealing? It's concealing, conceal. And by the way, I'm not saying give up your concealer. A
No,
concealer is a miracle worker,
because
but
we're not ever going to, but the concealing is,
concealing is the word. That was so
yeah,
sort of like, I don't understand why we have to conceal. Surely there is skincare or methodologies or a dermatologist who can help proactively improve the things that we're not happy about. So improving under eye circles, improving that eyelid droop, improving outer lines and nasal labial lines. That's the second most commonly, and then the eyebrow lines going
right.
across.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it can't just be Botox because you can't be Botoxing your eyes.
No.
So, what else can there be? And that's when we embarked on a series of conversations with dermatologists, and then very quickly we talked to actually a couple of very famous menopause specialists, in particular Marianne Minkin, who is now in her 80s, and she
Yeah.
is really the mother of starting the conversation about perimenopause and menopause in the US. She's a professor at Yale, or maybe she's recently retired, but Mary Claire and all the doctors came after her. And she was really incredible. She said right off the bat, first of all, only 1 in 5 OBGYNs get any training in menopause.
Yeah.
Dermatologists get zero,
No.
and other doctors get zero. And it's an elective
Yeah.
and you only get 8 hours and
Yep.
it's incredibly limited. And she said, and yet it is so profound what happens to skin. And she told me, and this is now 5 years ago almost, maybe 4 years ago, she said, I have patients who will put estrogen on skin or just take HRT just to improve their skin. They don't have hot flashes.
Right.
And then she talked about the physiology of skin. And then we met with these incredible, we were also at the same time interviewing chemists and scientists. And one of our science partners came out of Johnson and Johnson. And not only is he got a PhD in chemistry, but he also happens to be have a master's and is an expert in human physiology. And he understood this perfectly well. He's a guy, but he was in his 50s. And he drew on a lunch napkin these layers of skin and then very simply, in plain layman's language, explained why women's skin ages faster than men. And that's the name of the game.
That
Um,
is,
everybody's aging. It's natural. It's
yeah.
normal.
Yeah.
And it starts around 29, 30. And what it starts with is sex hormones. So estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone are all starting to decline.
Yeah.
Very tiny amounts, a quarter to a half a percent a year. It's cumulative. And that's true for both men and women. Sometime between 35 and 45, and this is where it's unique. There's no one trajectory. It is truly, truly unique. And there are other factors too that come into this. A woman's rate of decline, my rate of decline and yours, will double that of a man of the same age, and it will stay double until well past menopause is over, till about 55, 56, 57. And so you have this giant chunk of time where our skin is rapidly changing. And what it means is because of the slowdown in these sex hormones, we are making less skin cells. In other words, you need estrogen and progesterone and testosterone to make skin. So less sex hormones means less skin cells. And we're talking all the skin cells. We're talking about collagen. We're talking about keratinocytes. We're talking about melanocytes. We're talking about elastin. We're talking about ceramide lipids, everything. It impacts every single kind of skin cell, not just one. And actually, there's very little knowledge. We know that that happens. We don't know if it impacts the rate of cellular reproduction the same for all the cells. There's so little knowledge, unfortunately, but we do know that the outcome means one day you wake up and you look at yourself in the mirror or you touch something and you're like, what is going on? That's
One
what
day you wake up, you got ball sack eyes.
I don't wish that on anybody.
I don't either.
I know. And yet the eyes are the window to the soul, right?
Well, and I'm not a person who like I'm pretty au naturel. Like I just need to find something that works. That's all I want. I just want something that hydrates my skin, that isn't sitting on the top of my skin,
That was
that
very
is
smart.
going to nurture my skin. It's going to nurture it and nourish. I think nurture and nourish are very different. Nurture is how I want to care gently. And I think lots of times is what you're saying is, I'm sure you're going to say this, we don't treat our skin very well.
No, we don't.
And so I think that's the nurture component. And then, of course, but then the problem that I have is that when you notice ball sack eyes, you go, oh my gosh. And you quickly reach for something.
Yes. Yes.
And that's where we get into trouble.
Yes. Because nurturing takes thought and learning and experience to get the best effort that you can.
Yeah.
It's not, like I said, every woman's skin is unique. Otherwise, we would all look exactly alike. We would age. We would be basically androids, and we're not. We're
Sure.
individuals with a unique genome for each of
Yeah.
us. And certainly, genetics is something I didn't talk about. That's going to play a huge part in how all this happens. If your mom had menopause and perimenopause later, you are likely to have it later too. And some women have other genes that never really get as impacted by hormone change as other women. So there's a unique path. But one of the things that is you just said that was really correct, and so few people think about and know about, and was something that is part of our company DNA, is there are a lot of interesting ingredients. There has been some good research in skincare science in the last 10, 15 years. And there's really good knowledge. So do we replace certain components of skin? For
Yeah.
example, hyaluronic acid, which is the world's worst name because it's not even an acid at
No,
all.
you're scared of it.
Actually, a sugar. It's actually
big. It's a sugar?
it's a sugar. It's a polysaccharide. It's probably the only good sugar that we can get. And it's a really good sugar. And it's not just in your skin, it's in your brains, it's in your joints. If you've got creaky joints, that's actually due to a decline in HA. And your body's making it every day. We make I believe it's something like 15 micrograms a day, and it's throughout. I mean, skin is probably about 40, 50% of that. But as time goes on and we're making less, why does that matter? That HA is actually in what's called the extracellular matrix. It means it's so if all these little round circles, just imagine a bunch of round circles.
Yep.
In between all the circles is this gooey stuff. That ECM is largely hyaluronic acid and it holds liquid. It's a humectant. It's holding liquid. And because it's thick, it's gooey. People
Yeah.
sometimes call it the goo molecule.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
holding all of your proteins and other cells in place. So
Yeah.
obviously, if you have less goo
Yeah.
holding stuff in place, then of course things are moving around and they're soft and
Yeah.
saggy and
Yeah.
allowing for wrinkle formation or fine line formation. And your skin is just not as strong,
Yeah.
which
That's
means
right.
other, yeah.
See, I like this information. This is great. This is great because you're talking about what skin's made of. You're telling us about the not necessarily about the product, but about the skin that you're treating. And that's what I really like about you and your brand, is that you're really concerned about skin.
We're really concerned about skin. And because of that, we were like, how can we best help people
Yeah.
replace some of that lost HA? And we actually go about it in two ways.
Okay.
So our signature serum has not only what's called three different weights of this HA, and
Okay.
the reason there's different weights is that only the lower weights can actually penetrate skin, go in deeper, and actually allow your body to bring hydration.
Oh,
Otherwise, it's sitting here, and that's better than nothing. And there's a
okay.
lot of HA on the market, and it sits here, and it actually pulls moisture from the air. And it brings it to your skin and it gives you a glow for an hour, a half an hour, maybe a couple of hours.
Yeah.
And that's better than nothing because you'll feel a little bit better,
Yeah.
um, and you'll create a veil of protection. That's not bad, but you're not actually fundamentally impacting um, your skin for the future, right? You're
Right.
not giving it tools to improve. So what we're doing is not only giving the tiniest possible molecule that can actually get through skin, but we also have a biofermented peptide that is designed to trigger or signal, trigger is a bad word, I shouldn't say that.
Well, you can say it.
Trying to say trigger, but I think signal or
So
talk to your own
we
skin.
use trigger to talk about emotions, but we also use trigger to talk about in succession. One thing moves the next piece.
Another.
Trigger. I'm okay with that.
Okay, thank you. So basically, it's telling your skin to make more HA and to make more collagen. So it
Okay.
has what's called a signaling capacity. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that we can suddenly increase your collagen capacity 500%. It's not possible, but we can increase it to some extent. So every time you put a little on, some of it goes in and it talks and it we get a reaction, and the reaction is you are making more collagen in skin and more hyaluronic acid in skin than you would have without it. So the more you have, the thicker and the more filled in your skin is. And that's what we're really after. We're really after achieving a more lush, a more rich, a more strong, fulfilled skin.
So when you apply this, like after you wash your face, just pat it. Don't fully dry. And then would you add the serum, or does it matter? Dry or a little wet to help the hyaluronic acid go in?
I would say actually dry is preferable, but
Okay.
it can be slightly damp. There's no right or wrong because the biofermented peptide and the two lowest weights of hyaluronic in our formulation are so small, it's going to go in.
Yeah.
And this is where it's very interesting. So every woman's skin is going to absorb whatever it's going to absorb. Mine might take in more today than yours, and yours might take in more tomorrow. But it's the doing of it that's successful. Women sometimes say to me, I only am using it once a day. And I don't ever want to tell somebody that's wrong because it's not wrong. Once is better than none. But the scientific studies show that if you are willing to apply it twice a day, you're going to get more of a response because by 8 hours or 12 hours later, your skin will have, you know,
That's right.
it's new, it's different skin again, and
It
you're
is.
giving it a whole new application of treatment, right?
Yeah.
Um, I'll be very honest, I cheat a little bit myself. You just saw me put some
I
on.
saw
In
you
the
putting
middle
it
of the
on. Yeah.
day, I pat it on, especially around my eyes, because I can feel, for me,
It's
that my
right.
skin is drinking it up. It just seems to need it. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe it's because I live in the Northeast. Maybe it's me. I think I do have naturally drier skin. I have eczema, and people with eczema have skin that unfortunately already has less skin cells going across,
sure.
and that's unfortunate, but that's true.
So I noticed this, and I we got to do full disclosure because I actually thought this was not believable. And I'm just telling you, you're
Okay,
gonna
okay, okay, it's
you
okay.
might say Celeste, and you might say to Lori, to your Lori, you might say that's not possible. But I'm here to tell you, it is. So yesterday I went to my mailbox. It came in. I I did the mask, so the triple lift
Collagen
molecule
mask.
mask. I put that on at I did a Pilates class, then I came home, showered, put it on my face. And it was I did a thicker, like on the card you say you can put this on thicker and it will sit. Okay. I took that off and I washed it off. I felt it, but my skin actually looked like
Better.
I had pushed water into it. It looked I don't want to say plumper, but I would say it just looked like it wasn't needing a drink.
And you know what? It is plumper. You actually did create a little like plumping facial for yourself. Do you want to hear how it works, the mask? Because it's
I want
fascinating.
to hear. So let's go by one, because then I'll tell you
Okay.
the other pieces I did. So please talk to me about the mask and how the mask works.
So the mask has that signature hyaluronic peptide
It,
matrix. Yes. Oh, you're
yeah,
showing it. Fantastic.
I'm
Thank you.
showing it. This is how it kind of
It's a
has,
gel.
yeah.
It's completely clean and vegan, and I do want to tell people it's microplastic free. And the reason I want to emphasize that
Mm,
is that most tightening masks or masks that feel like they have a tightening effect have a form of microplastic in it to achieve that effect.
okay.
And we are very anti that, to say the least, for many reasons. I mean, it's bad for the environment, but it's really not good for your skin. I mean,
No.
I don't, would never want to put that on my own skin or anybody else's skin. So we worked really hard to, we actually used an ingredient called pullulan, which is a natural rice potato extract that creates that tightening effect. And it allows two things to happen simultaneously. And it's kind of like, I mean, Lori always calls it a facial in the jar, and I don't think she's wrong, actually.
I would say she's not wrong. From one
Right.
Lori
And
to another, she's not wrong.
love that. She'll love that from one Lori to another.
Yep.
We gotta write that down. So basically, it's fascinating because another thing that is slowing down. So you're making less skin cells to begin
Yep.
with over time. But guess what else is happening? This thing called desquamation is also slowing down, and that's an action. Your skin and this is still going to happen regardless of whatever skincare you're using, by the way.
Okay.
Your skin naturally gets rid of over, every day, millions of skin cells across your entire body
Yes.
and hair and, it's constantly replenishing. And this process is called desquamation, where you're losing outer, older skin cells that are dead and bringing up fresh skin from underneath. And there's about 7 or 8 layers of skin that's constantly moving and growing. And desquamation is the fact that your skin is less good at it. It's not that it's not doing it. It's definitely doing this and it's doing it all the time, but it's not as fast and as sophisticated at it as maybe when you were 20 years old, right? And one way of looking at it is like for me, and I've talked to a lot of women, and this is very common. Your knees and your elbows and the fronts of your legs look dry, like really
Yes.
dry. And part of that is because it is dry, but part of it is because the dead skin cells haven't come off. So by using the mask, you are doing the desquamation for your skin naturally, very safely,
Oh,
very naturally, without an acid. You can do it, by the way, with a glycolic acid. You can
sure.
do it with a lactic acid. You can go to a dermatologist and spend a bunch of money and have a peel, and it will do that process. But you want
Sure.
to be doing it frequently, not like once every 3 or 6 months. You
Right.
want to do it a couple times a week. And if you wear a lot of makeup, this will also help because the makeup is very hard to get off, especially sunscreen. If you're
Yes.
using an actual sunscreen like me, a zinc or a titanium, it's wonderful because it's a physical block. The bad news is that it's sticking. I mean, for me, I feel like it's
Of
glued
course.
to my skin,
I
and getting
know.
it off is so hard.
What's your sunscreen recommendation? What do you recommend as a sunscreen?
Oh my God. I'm not good at this. I
Oh.
buy a lot of stuff. I buy everything from the Shiseido that costs $1 billion, to some of the cheap, I don't want to name a brand as cheap, but I
Sure.
love the smell of Sun Bum.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
reminds me of sunscreens in the 70s and the 80s, like it
Oh,
smells like Hawaiian Tropic to me. I don't know, maybe
yeah.
it's just so basically, I would say the thing about sunscreen, we work with a wonderful dermatologist named Dr. Beth Goldstein, and she always says, you just have to do it. It's a
Yep.
question of doing it and reapplying and
Yeah.
forcing yourself to stay out of the sun between 10 and 2. It's all those things, right?
All of those things.
But so I put it on and it's goopy. You know, even though you get it to absorb and you don't have that white cast and you go
Yeah.
about your day, at the end of the day, you know it's there to take off. And I don't want to use a harsh cleanser that's not only going to just it's going to strip my skin deep. That's not really great either. I want it to be gentle. And I find in that regard, the mask is a great tool.
Okay.
Or if you wear makeup, let's say you have the kind of job where you need to wear a little foundation every day. That's
Yeah.
cool. And this is a really great because it's even. It takes off the outer layer without taking off like 20 layers. So now we've talked about the one thing, the
Yeah.
desquamation, the cleaning, the
Yeah.
smoothing. It's kind of retexturizing your skin. So it's a
Yeah.
very beautiful palette.
Yeah.
At the same time, that hyaluronic peptide is being infused. So this is going away, this is going in. I'm not using my hands correctly, but
Sure.
you have a two-way action that is really productive for
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah.
So we were trying to achieve a product that was multi-purpose because we don't think that women should have to buy 900 products
I'm in agreement.
and effective, and yet also meeting our personal standards for being not just clean, but like really clean.
Yes.
And because there's a lot of natural beauty that, you know, it's sort of natural and it's not bad. And I hate to criticize because I do think that a lot of people have good intention, but if you're not working at a very highly self-critical level, you may not know that some of your ingredients are actually not really ideal for skin in the long run.
I still stick to this though. You are Care Cosmetics is nurturing. It
Yes, we do
it's
believe in nurture.
nurturing. It is like what your passion is. That's what you're trying to do for our skin. You're nourishing the skin, but then you're nurturing it. And I think that's the other thing. The nourishing is a process over years, whereas the nurture is like the tenderness and the respect that this has been showcasing you all of these years. This is where the nourishing comes in, and the nurturing is, in my view, saying I love you. I'm not going to poke holes in you. I'm not going to rip you. I'm not going to strip you bare. I'm i'm offering you a nurturing that I've never been able to give you before, because in our 20s we were harsh, in our 30s we were harsh. We When you start to see the eyelids and the things happening, now you want to move into some kind of a nurturing.
So glad you said that. And can I tell you why? Our very name, Caire, which is hard to come by,
Yeah.
comes from self-care.
Oh
So
yeah.
really, really, I mean, I know people say it, but really loving yourself in the moment. You don't have to love yourself all day if you don't feel like it, but loving yourself in the moment,
Yeah.
giving yourself a little gift. And we took, so it's like self-care, I care. So we took the I and we put it in the middle of care. And that's how we got our name.
I
So
love
thank
that.
you, because what you just said was much more eloquent than what I just said.
Okay, so then when we go to, so we do this, the mask, you're saying 1 to 2 times a week.
Right.
And that's
You have people that use it more, by the way, but I would only say that that makes sense if you are a heavy makeup user or you're using a ton of sunscreen. Okay.
sure. Okay. So then that's your maintenance. This is the real nurturing here. But
Right.
then this would be more of the
Treatment.
nourishing. These two ones are the nourishing in the sense that they are used together.
Yes.
The-
Absolutely. So this Theorem Serum Boost, the theorem behind it is that it's addressing female biology.
Love.
And we packed everything we could in to address those visible and touchable skin changes that we're not happy about
Mm,
and want to improve upon or delay or defy, whatever words you like to use. So we actually not only have that signature hyaluronic peptide that serves to signal collagen and HA improvement
yeah,
that infuses directly, immediately
I
HA into
know.
the skin,
I
but
can feel it.
it also has these plant actives. It's jasmine and tree hawthorn, and
Yeah.
that's for the eyes. So it's called the ocular triangle. This eyelid, under eye, outer eye,
But
and
that's what I noticed, Celeste, immediately. That's why I woke up this morning when I put on my concealer
right.
right in the corner. So, like, I'll show you right here. My eyes
Okay.
get really, they get like the makeup kind of cakes and creases. So I put this on and I put this on last night. Then I showered and I put it on this morning. Okay. And then I said to myself, okay, I'm going to do this. This might be risky, but I'm going to put my makeup on because I didn't know how this would work because it felt very nourishing, almost like, am I going to be able to put my stuff on? And I did. I went through, I put everything on. Now I'm stuck in a hot flash. I don't know why. I'm just stuck here in this hot flash zone. So my cheeks are a little bit red. But the thing that I noticed the first was that the creasing of the, like, it nourished my eyelids, gave them the moisture that they needed. I just, it was beautiful. It was
Thank you.
immediate.
Oh, I'm so glad. And you did just actually describe very accurately the purpose of these products. So you have the serum, which is a treatment, and the
Yeah.
moisturizer, which is another form of a treatment. It is a moisturizer, but it is quite different. In fact, it's dramatically different than
Yeah.
most moisturizers. In fact, I would say every moisturizer on the market. We actually have a patent on it. And the
Yeah.
reason why you had that softening and smoothing is the lipid emulsion that's inside of this moisturizer. So what is a lipid? A lipid is actually a fat. If you get your like blood drawn, sometimes there's like a lipid number, right?
Yeah.
And your skin, your epidermis, which is your outer three layers of skin, as opposed to the dermis deep down, your epidermis, which is your first line of defense against the world, right? As we age, is losing ceramide lipids. And believe it or not, your outer skin is about 45% ceramide lipids. It's a huge component. It's the dominant component of skin. And so, um, while we can improve the collagen and the hydration through this is designed to literally create a line of defense. And what's interesting about the emulsion is, and this is where the patent comes in, the delivery biotech makes the lipids so small they can penetrate into all three layers of your epidermis. So we're literally improving the health of your skin, the strength. I don't even know, strength is a better word. We're giving your body, your skin strength. And what happens is, and it's interesting, skin is like any other organ. It's a
Yeah.
machine. And
Yeah.
when you fix one part of a machine or improve one part of the machine, it's like your car. If you
Yeah.
redo,
Your
I don't
hair.
know, the axles of the car, the whole car runs better. And
Yeah.
it's the same thing with skin, but interesting, skin responds. So if you improve certain
Yeah.
aspects of your skin, your own skin will naturally improve other components. And that's the great magical mystery of the human body.
You know what
And
I
by the
noticed?
way, of other parts of the human body.
Well, I noticed, but on the card, um, it says even when you're applying, then with the serum, put it on the back of your hand. And so I did. I went right up to my elbows and onto my elbows, and I did it with the Grownup moisturizer as well. And the difference,
Is
again, it's I do, I am going to use the word immediate because it is the right word.
it is
I'm not
immediate.
joking. And I think it was because my skin is screaming, like, feed me. And I have been applying all these creams that sit on the top of my skin.
Top
Now,
of your skin.
when I wash my hands, I can feel the barrier on there. But the result is that my hands don't feel as dry and they don't look as crepey.
It's exactly the effect that we're trying to achieve. It's literally giving nutrition because you are giving it lipids. It wants the lipids. And that's another thing, by the way. Here's a crazy, I can't call it a fun fact because it's a weird fact.
Okay.
These lipids that we make actually are less round as we get older. So not only are we making less, they're slightly imperfect, shall we say. So obviously anything you can do to give your skin more of it that it wants and it craves is a good thing. And so what it does is it locks in hydration deeper down in your dermis.
Yeah.
We also have an antioxidant complex in here, including a super E, which is like literally 5,000 times better than a regular vitamin E cream, uh,
Sure.
which was probably the best thing you could have gotten 20 years ago, but we are in a much better place scientifically. And so this product, I actually call it the everything, everywhere, all the time because it defends against the exterior. It defends here at the skin barrier level, and the peptide hyaluronic is going in and improving the internal aging. So we're doing external and internal aging all at the same time.
I love
And
it.
again, we're doing that on purpose because we recognize that most people don't want to use multiple skincare products. They don't have the time, they don't have the money, they don't have the interest,
Yeah, you're right. That's
including me, by the way.
of course. Now I have a few questions to ask you. So
Okay.
in our last 20 minutes here. So what do you know now about your skin that you didn't know 10 years ago?
I definitely did not understand that the skin barrier, the epidermis, is the skin barrier. So, a lot of times you read in media these words that people invent. I feel like skin barrier was something I didn't understand was important at all. And I didn't understand the difference at all between what is external aging versus internal aging. I had no idea.
Right.
So external aging, and I should explain this because because it's not common knowledge. External aging is pollution and UV rays, and it starts from the day you're born.
Yeah.
It begins, and it's cumulative over time, and it creates wrinkles and damage over the course of your entire life. And it's just part of being in the world and human.
Yeah.
Internal aging, which we've been focusing on in this conversation, is that hormone decline linked aging, and it changes your body,
Mm,
its ability to produce skin cells. Simple. And there's a certain amount of intersection. You hear about free radicals and things,
yeah.
and that can be free radicals can happen from the outside and from the inside, by the way. So, in other words, your own body can create them, and you want to get rid of them, and exposure to pollution and UV can create them. But anything you can do to take care of and give love to your skin that's counteracting these issues, these impacts, is just going to make you feel better in that moment, but you're also going to make your skin get better
Yeah.
tomorrow and next week and over time. By the way, on the moisturizer, I
Yeah.
do want to tell people this is a miracle worker in a way, but every person's going to be unique and different. For me, I only need to use it every other day. I don't need it every day because the lipids are I don't know, they're strong enough or good enough or rich enough that they seem to keep my skin very bouncy and enriched for about 2 days. Now, obviously, that depends. If you're traveling or it's the dead of winter and you've been walking around outside in the ice cold, okay. So I also ask, it's kind of like, be aware of what your skin is telling you too. That's part of the name. And don't forget, there's other things. Lifestyle matters too. Drinking water and eating lots of,
Hydration.
good things for your skin.
Um, I like that. I like what you said though, because the external aging and the internal aging is a very important thing. And we're talking about skin 35, 40 years and over. We're not talking about my daughters who, like, when I squeeze or kiss their face, that
Oh,
collagen is oozing out of them. It's just like bung, 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 bung. Like you just I'm like, it's glorious and something to celebrate. This is why this is the real deal, because you said you're not saying apply this every day. You're saying sometimes for some people it's a couple days because it works. It's going, you are nourishing and you are nurturing at the same time.
I love that. And it's interesting. You just reminded me of something. So I semi-lied just now. The
No,
place I use it every day is actually on my knees, my own moisturizer. And even though um, this is really designed for face, neck, hands, and décolletage, obviously you can use it
sure.
wherever you might want to. And skin is changing, not just on your face and neck, it's changing everywhere. This is the most obvious because,
But the knees are noticeable and the
oh,
elbow,
yeah, yeah.
and then of course the neck.
The neck is a very tricky area
It
because
is.
it's historically the area that women and men
Yeah.
don't take care of the most.
No.
Starting, your daughters, I'm sure, like all the great Zillennials, are obsessed with skincare, but they actually don't even think about the neck. They're still looking at this. And this is actually just as important as the eyes, I would argue. I think these
Yeah.
two areas.
Well, you get the ball sack, eyelids, and the vagina neck. It's like one of the two, right?
I call it the turkey gobble, but that's, ugh.
Sure.
Again, this is another area where every woman is unique and different, and some
Yeah,
women will be more impacted. And I want to caution everybody, there's only so much that great skincare can do because you
I
can't,
know.
no matter what we're doing, we can improve your skin from this moment on. What
Yeah.
I can't do for you is to go back and change the habits of a lifetime. Um,
No.
Right. And if you've been doing this, and you should caution your daughters, if you've
Yeah,
been
that's
doing
right. Yeah.
it, it's going, gravity is going to be stronger. And I would say the first and foremost is, of course, the 8 to 10 cups of water, because we do need more water, by the way, than when we were younger,
Yeah.
because our ability to internally take in hydration and use it is a little less good. And that has to
Mm.
do with hormone decline too. But also, I mentioned that free radicals can occur from external UV, but it can also occur naturally inside. So if you're feeding your body a few carrots and peppers and green things, cruciferous vegetables, you will be giving your body antioxidants. And if don't take a couple vitamins. It doesn't hurt a little supplementation. I don't think it should replace your diet, but a
No,
little supplementation is not a bad thing. It can only
no.
help.
I would agree with you. Um, what's the most important thing you want people to know about the mask? And then the most important thing about the serum, and then the moisturizer.
The mask is a gift to your skin
Ah,
to soften and smooth and retexturize and just feel good. You're feeding your
mhm.
skin, but you're also smoothing your skin all at the same time. This is your magical treatment to grow more skin. That kind of sounds gross, but you know what I mean.
Actually, really cool.
Oh, and for the eyes, the eyes.
I tell you, I noticed it immediately. Yeah.
And then the moisturizer is this magical mystery tour of lipid emulsion. I mean, it doesn't matter if you heard a word about what I said about lipids, just know that if you want to improve your natural bounce and elasticity, this is going to do it.
Yeah.
We're very confident in what we're doing. Everything has been clinically tested, and if you don't like it, we're very cool about giving you your money back.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Of course. Of course you are.
Yeah. Well, it's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do. Um, takeaways. Anything you want from this conversation. What do you want to leave us with? If we forget everything, what is it?
I would say the number one thing is to not beat yourself up and say, "Oh my God, I used to look like this and now I look like this." Every day, because of the nature of skin, because it's a constantly changing and renewing organ, it is our largest organ. Just say, you know what? I can start change today or tomorrow. Don't think about what happened 5 years ago or the mistakes that you made and the fact that you didn't drink water. It's not about beating yourself up. It's about taking care of yourself. And I think that just having a mind shift about self-care, about I care for my own skin, and that can start today or tomorrow or next week is very good. And if you miss a day, it's not a problem. Nobody is going to know. You can always do better another time.
Wow.
I just think that there's so much hysteria around the right what you should be doing and how you should look and what people are thinking about you. By the way, I don't think most people are thinking about what your skin looks like. I think about my skin. You think about your skin, Lori. Nobody's thinking about what my skin looks like.
Unless I meet you and I go, God, she's got great skin.
Well, that's because I'm in the skincare business. But imagine that I was like, I don't know, a software engineer. Nobody would be looking at my skin. Or if they did, it would be a subconscious thing that is like, oh, she feels good about herself. That's all it would indicate. It's that I feel good about myself. And we hope that through the mechanism of improving the quality of your skin, the health and strength of your skin, it will help you just feel better about yourself.
Well,
That's
I'm telling you, I felt better about myself. Well, I don't know what everybody's waiting for. This is a moment. Go and do, because this is a fantastic. And so we are going to have you on again, and we've got lots more to talk about.
Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Lori, so much for having me on today. This has
Uh,
been amazing. What a great conversation.
well, thank you for being willing to come on the show, and this has been fabulous. And so everybody, if you haven't already, it's cairebeauty.com. So this is a run, not walk.
You can just, it's easy. Pull out your phones.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you loved this conversation with Celeste Lee as much as I did. It's refreshing and honestly, it's empowering to finally hear someone talk about middle life skin with science, clarity, and with zero shame. Your skin isn't misbehaving. It is responding to hormonal changes that most products ignore. And the good news is you can start nourishing and nurturing your skin at any age. Today, tomorrow, next week. No guilt, no should haves, just small intentional choices that help you feel more like yourself again. And if you want to try the 3 products that we talked about, the Triple Lift Molecule Mask, the Theorem Serum Boost, and the Grownup Moisturizer, head on over to cairebeauty.com. CAIREBEAUTY.com. And if you have a friend who's suddenly wondering what's happened to their skin, send her this episode, because we do not need to age quietly or alone. So thank you for listening. Thank you for caring for yourself, and I will see you in the next episode.